Okay, now we start the lesson The Lost Child. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. Even you are also very interested to go for a fair with your parents for sweets and toys. But his parents don't buy them for him. Even your parents too? Okay. So why then does he refuse when someone else offer them to him? So maybe the child, many are having them offers chocolates or something else or any other thing, lollipop. So the good child will refuse to take things from the strangers. Likewise, this child also refused to take things from the stranger. Okay, let's begin. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. What's the meaning of alleys? That is a narrow passageway. That is a narrow passage. That is a way. And gaily means in a cheerful. Okay, cheerful. It was the festival of spring. It was the festival of spring, and from the wintry shades of narrow lanes emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. Brimming means overflowing from here and there, from this side, sometimes from that side. He is having very fun, while means enjoying from here and there. He just see the things in a joyful manner. Okay, now come child come, called his parents. As he lagged behind means showing delayed effect. So when he lagged behind, they are calling like, come child come, fascinated by the toys in the shops that line the way. And the child got fascinated by the toys in the shop. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. He knew that the refusal of his parents. He hurried towards his parents, towards his feet obedient to their call, and his eyes lingering to that toys, receding toys, to the things. He got attracted towards the toys, and he came to where they stopped to wait for him, and he could suppress the desire. The child suppressed, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew that the old cold stare of refusal of his parents in their eyes. I want that toy, he pleaded. Who pleaded? The boy pleaded that I want that toy. His father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. What's the meaning of receding? Means move back, and tyrant meaning is cruel. Okay, in a cruel way. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" So by the time, she just, in a tender way, and giving him her finger to hold and say that, look child, what is before you? See here, some new things are there. What is before you? It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. It just means that is a mustard field. See, look child, what a beautiful mustard flowering field it is. It looks pale like melting gold as it swept across miles and miles of land in even land. That is all mustard field. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings. Gaudy means bright. Okay, purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly. in search of sweetness from the flowers. His mother just giving him a group of dragonflies were bustling, how beautiful the butterflies are, from in search of sweetness they are roaming here and there from the flowers, and the child followed them in the air with his gaze till one of them would still the wings and rest, and he would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. And that is very fun part, to catch butterflies. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. When he had almost caught it in his hand, then his mother gave a cautionary call, "Come child, come onto the footpath, come fast." In this way, she just again and again giving the cautionary call to that child. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind. Again he left behind, attracted by the little insect and worms along the footpath were teeming out from their hiding place to enjoy the sunshine. Grove means, what's the meaning of grove? Grove is the small group of trees. He just ran down, walked abreast of them, and soon he again left behind, attracted by some insect or worm on the footpath. Again his parents called him that, "Come child, come," from the shade of a grove. Grove is the group of trees where they seated themselves on the edge of the well, and he ran towards them, and again he ran towards them means parents. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. Again, when he entered the grove means the small group of trees. When he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, a shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered to the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petal in his hand. He just gathering that petals in his hands. But lo means used. He heard the used to draw attention is low, and he heard the cooing of doves. Cooing means कोयल की आवाज़, कबूतर की आवाज़, or some animals. Dove is here the bird which is making cooing sound, and ran towards his parents shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands, and again he just forgot the petals that is in his hands. Again his parents call him, "Come child, come," they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers. Capers is dance about in a playful way, wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath. He took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields, which is very narrow, through the mustard fields. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Whirlpool means quick rotating mass. He just fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Means the throngs, footpath full of throngs converging the ways. So he got fascinated by the confusion, means the sweetmeat or the toys shop or the flower shop or the many shops are there. The sweetmeat seller hogged. Sweetmeat seller means gulab jamun. He is just selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and the crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. Many sweets are there on the counter and decorated with the leaves of silver and gold. Silver and gold means that is chandi ka work, sone ka, something like that. And the child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi. And maybe you also got watered in your mouth for barfi or gulab jamun or rasgulla or something else. For the barfi, that was his favorite sweet. Barfi was his favorite sweet, the boy's favorite sweet. I want that barfi. He slowly murmured, but he half knew that what he knew that he begged his plea would not be heeded. Means because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. He knew the answer that he will not get that sweet, so he just moved on. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. कैसी आवाज लगा रहा था? A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland, but he well knew his parents. Again, he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Again, he moved on without waiting an answer from their parents. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. Now, the child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So, what he had done here, so he walked on further. Now a snake charmer stood playing a flute to the snake, which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like a neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ear like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. So for anything, he well knew the answer of his parents. That is, maybe guys, your parents are also not permitting to, maybe I'm not sure that every child's parents refuse for the things, but some of the child's. Now there was a roundabout in full swing. You know what is roundabout? Roundabout in a full swing means जो ऊंचा सा झूला होता है, men, women and children carried away in a whirling motion, and that is means from there the dizzy laughter, the cry, the sound is coming from that roundabout. The child watched them intently and then he made a bold request. Now he made a bold request that I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. Now he just made a bold request because genuine he want now to go on roundabout. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parent. They were not there. Oh, ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. Where is his parents now? A full, deep cry rose begin his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in a real fear. Father, mother, tear rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce, his flushed face convulsed with fear. Panic-stricken, he ran to one side first and then other side, hither, thither, in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes become muddy. Now he is searching his father, mother, his parents. He looked behind, he looked either this side, that side, but no sign of them. A deep cry rose from his dry throat and that a sudden jerk of his body. Now what he is doing, tears rolled down from his eyes and his just flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic stricken, where is his father? He is searching hither, thither, in all directions. Now he just got his yellow turban came untied and became dirty, muddy. His clothes became muddy. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while. He stood defeated. He cried, suppressed to sob. Now he is just crying, sobbing, as at little distance on the green grass he could see through his filmy eyes men and women talking. He cried to look intently among the patches of the bright yellow cloths, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He is seeing many peoples there are talking, but his mother and father is not there. He tried to look intently among the patches of the bright yellow clothes, but no sign of his father and mother among those peoples who seem laugh talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. They all are enjoying, but that child is very we can say that he is in means stood defeated as he cries, suppressed to sob. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seem to be crowding. That part is very crowded, so every little inch of space here was congested with men. But he ran through people's legs because he is short in height. His little sob lingering father, mother near the entrance of the temple. However, the crowd became very thick. Now the crowd became very thick inside the temple. Men jostled each other. Jostled each other means they are having very tight, very crowded place. That's why heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to thrust away between their feet, but knocked to and fro by the crowd. He just got to and fro by the brutal movement of the crowd. He might have been trampled underfoot, might be, but not. He had not shrieked at the highest pitch of the voice. From that crowd he is not having that much voice, father or mother, but he is doing lot of struggle inside the crowd. A man is surging crowd heard his cry. One man is there in the crowd. He just heard that cry. Stooping with great difficulty lifted him up with his arm, and then he just उन्होंने उसको भीड़ में से ऊपर उस बच्चे को ऊपर उठाया. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked, his stirred clear of mass. The child wept more bitterly. Now he wept. Now he is weeping more bitterly now, and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. He just want his parents back. The mother here the man tried to soothe him by taking him a roundabout. Now he is taking him to a roundabout, means he just make him to just make him happy by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked. He approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and now again he shouted, I want my mother and father, and he is crying, I want my mother and I want my father back. I just want my parents back. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute on the swaying cobra. Listen to that music, child, he pleaded. See what a beautiful music is that? But the child shut his eyes with his fingers and shouted in double pitch strain that I want my mother, I want my father. Now again the man took him near the balloons, thinking that the bright colors of the balloon would distract the child's attention. Maybe it quieten him. It is helpful to quieten him. But would you like a rainbow colored balloon, child? He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flower. He just turned out from the flowers and just sobbed, I want my mother and I want my father. Okay, now again and again he is just having that one sound by more bitterly. Nothing can distract, nothing can taking child's attention or quietens him. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to gate where the flower seller said, Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? The child turned his nose away. Now the child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his soap, and now again he sob and I want my mother and I want my father, thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets. Maybe the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop, that maybe that sweet can help him. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop also and only sobbed, I want my mother and I want my father. And we don't know that afterward what will happen. Maybe the man is successfully attract that child towards the things, but maybe I don't know. That is already over, the lesson is over. And this lesson was written by, and the story is written by Mulk Raj Anand. Maybe you guys like the explanation.